So you're just getting into Rogue Company and you're getting your ass handed to you on a platter. I get it. I was there too at one point, and I realized that the only tried and true method to getting better is to practice. But sometimes just throwing yourself at a wall without direction can be frustrating, and the last thing I want is for any of you out there to get frustrated and not play this amazing game that Hi-Rez has put together. So today, I'm going to give you beginners out there 7 tips to bring your game to a place where you don't have to hang your head in shame every time you look at the scoreboard. For you more advanced players out there, don't think I've forgotten about you. There will be a guide later this week outlining some tips for more experienced players to take advantage of. If you're on the ground floor though and you're looking to claw your way up to the top, this one's for you. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, our first tip, headshots. Headshots win duels. Most shooter games these days give a headshot multiplier bonus, and Rogue Company is no different. When aiming, you're always going to want to aim for the head if you can. It's a good habit to start if you play shooters, and it will win you so many fights. Don't be too quick to shoot someone if you can take that extra moment to aim and secure a few headshots. Eventually, it will become second nature, and your enemies will drop faster than you know. Our second tip, Hipfire. Aiming down sights is always going to be your more accurate option at a distance because it helps you control recoil. There are drawbacks though. Not only does ADSing slow your movement speed without the perk, it also limits your close quarters combat ability. You aren't always able to fight at a distance. At one point or another, someone will rush you. They're going to get in your face and you're going to want to put them down as quickly as possible. Learn to fire from the hip to really make use of the corners and some of the more close range weapons in this game. More on corners in a bit. Make sure your sensitivity is comfortable for you and it'll make this easier. There are also weapon upgrades to make this more manageable. Use corners. Rogue Company is a third-person shooter, so the camera is positioned over the player's shoulder, unlike a lot of the most popular tactical shooters out there. The camera can be moved around to check your surroundings, and you're going to want to do so on the regular. Combining this with walls or a corner can let you get a huge advantage in a gunfight. Using a corner to fire down a lane is extremely common in this game. Ducking swiftly behind a corner can break your opponent's line of sight and give you a chance to regroup. If an opponent isn't aware, it's easy to pop out from behind the corner for a quick down or two. Moral of the story, corners equal cover, and you are almost always going to want to have cover in this game. Our fourth tip, revive. Please, for the love of all that is holy, get into the habit of reviving teammates whenever you can. I get that there are times when the revive will be too risky, and if you're not reviving then that's absolutely fine. But do not sit in your scope as Phantom or Saint, especially as Saint, when I'm on my knees begging for a pickup. Revives win games, especially right now when not enough people do it like they should. The team that looks out for each other will likely be the one that comes out on top. Our fifth tip, ping. This game has the ability to ping, and even though the system might not be as advanced as something like Apex Legends, you can do basic things like direct your team with a single press or point out an enemy with a double tap. Now, I'm not going to sit here and demand that everybody uses a mic. I'm sure you micless folk out there have a reason for bringing the rest of the team down, but if you're not going to talk, at least ping when you're firing or after you die. When an enemy is flanking, pinging where they're attacking from can save a lot of lives. Just don't spam the ping and end up the boy who pinged Wolf. Our sixth tip, watch your minimap. Your minimap at the top left of your screen is an important tool to victory that a lot of people don't use. This is a tip for Rogue Company, but it also applies to just about any shooter that utilizes a minimap. It helps you learn the map for one, so that's a plus, but the real reason you use the minimap is so that you can pay attention to where both teams are. Each member of your team appears as a green arrow on the minimap, and as they move, their arrow moves. When their arrow turns to a green dot, they are downed, and when that dot turns to a skull, that is where they just died. When your opponent fires, assuming they don't have the perk to hide themselves, they show up as a red dot on your minimap. These indicators can tell you when your team is in a good position to push or alert you of an incoming flank, so use your minimap. Our final tip for today, take it slow. Rogue Company is the closest thing to a third-person tactical shooter that we have, and definitely the closest thing to a tactical shooter besides Siege that many on console have available to them. These games are played at a slower pace than a lot of the most popular shooters. If you watch gameplay of CSGO or Valorant, you're not going to see players running headfirst into the middle of the battlefield. They aren't afraid to watch and wait for their opponent to make a mistake so they can capitalize. Rogue Company is more casual than these games, but very similar at its core. Time to kill is not long at all, and even shorter when you're on the wrong end of a firing squad. Take corners wide and slow. Watch the point and check for movement. Wait for your team to get good positioning. Do not be that person who rushes out and gets lasered immediately. Rogue Company has just gotten started and has so much potential as a game. That means every player that downloads it has the potential to wreck lobbies. I hope these tips put all you newbies out there in a position to succeed, and just know that if it doesn't all come together right away, it will eventually. Remember, the most important ingredient in the recipe to success is time. And speaking of time, I appreciate you giving me a couple of minutes of yours. Guys, I'm Mr. EMP and I'm signing off for MrEyeMakePlays TV. Keep it locked right here so that eventually you can make plays like me. If you want to see me make plays live, go over to my Twitch channel, MrEyeMakePlays. Links to that and my social media tags will be down in the description. Thank you all for watching this vid, and I'll see you next time for more Rogue Company content.